All right, so this is graphing tangent, cotangent worksheet. We're going to do number 7. What did I already do with the 2 that was in front of the parentheses? I distributed the 2. Please do that first, okay? And now we're going to do these and find all these parts for us. So period is pi over b. Well, first of all, there's a number here in front of tangent, and that is what a is, but it's not amplitude on these. B is in front of the x. C is this part out here, and this part is the d. So we're going to plug those into this thing. So I'm going to have pi divided by 2 is my period. Then to get the interval, you take the period divided by 2, but I told you Monday that I'm going to take the period times a half because multiplying by a half is the same as dividing by 2. So my tick marks, which is what the intervals are pi fourths. If I do anything you're not sure about, please yell out a question. Then my phase shift is negative c. Well, c is 2 pi, so it's negative 2 pi divided by b, which is 2, which is negative pi. Now, look at my interval, look at my phase shift. They're not the same denominator, right? What I would like you to do is get a common denominator. This one, it's not as big a deal. And I'm going to put the phase shift as negative 4 pi over pi. Oops, not pi, but 4, sorry. My vertical shift is d, which is that 3. And I'm going to do this stuff after I graph it. Well, the range is already done. So it's negative, depending. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to put my tick marks, and they're going by pi fourths. And do you see my phase shift? I have to get to my phase shift. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's negative 4 pi over 4, which if you wanted to write as negative pi, which it was given right there in red as negative pi, you can do that. This is negative pi fourths, and negative 2 pi fourths, etc. I think I'm going to go 1 over here on this side, go pi fourths. Okay, then I've got a vertical shift of 3, so I got to go up 1, 2, and 3, and that's going to be my midline, my fake x-axis, and that's going to be x prime. And then I'm going to do my phase shift to go to negative 4 pi over 4, which is right here. Try to draw this vertically. So there's my y prime. So anybody got questions so far? Okay. Now I'm going to start graphing it, but I got to know what does tangent, because this is a tangent graph, what does tangent start at?
0.
0, 0, the origin. So you go to your fake y-axis and x-axis, and you put a 0 dot on that tick mark. You know this, Lexi? Okay. The next tick mark, after you do a 0, the next tick mark is a asymptote. So I'm going to come over here to this tick mark, and I'm going to try to make a vertical asymptote. Oh, that was sad. Okay, and put a couple down here below. Then the next one is a 0 again, and then the next one is a vertical asymptote. And the next one is a 0 again. The next one is an asymptote. As long as I got 3 asymptotes, that's going to give me 2 periods. So I'm not going to worry about the 0 clear over here on that y-axis. The original one, you with me? So now I want to write down my domain. So I'm going to bring this thing down here. X equals, what's the first thing we find to get the domain? It's all real values. It's x such that x is an element of all real values except x equals, what do we start with? An asymptote. You can pick any one you want. They all work. Okay, I'm going to pick negative pi fourths. If anybody's watching this video from earlier today, I picked this one. I picked negative 3 pi fourths. You can pick that one too if you wish. Doesn't matter. I'm going to pick this one this time, and then I'm going to say plus. Now, what do I add to that? A period or 2 intervals. I like having a common denominator. So I'm going to take this and put 2 pi over 4, which is pi halves, which is also this thing. So you can do either one. And then you have to put a k after it. And by the way, some books don't use k. Some use a different variable, but k is just a variable. And we have to say where k K is an integer. Does anybody remember what integers are from Monday? And you end your brace. Anybody remember?
Every whole number in their opposite.
Right, whole numbers and their opposites. So let me show you how this gets them all. If I had K to be 0 and I cover that up, that's gone because K is 0. That means I'm supposed to have an asymptote at -5/4. You see it? Then if K is 1, that means I'm going to start at -5/4 and I'm going to add 2 5/4 to it. That's 1, right? 1 times that. So I'm here and I add 2 5/4. 1 5/4, 2 5/4. You see how that one ends up on the asymptote at 5/4? I can put K's 2 and then I go 2 more places and that'd be another one. You get the idea? And if K's -1, I start at 5/4 and I go back 1 5/4, 2 5/4. You see how it's that asymptote? That covers all the asymptotes. Are we thumbs up with that? Getting to me. Giving me up or down?
That's what I was confused on, was the domain.
Okay, it's pretty hard. Now, the next thing we got to know is what is tangent doing the entire time? Does tangent increase or decrease?
Increase.
Increase. So we start down here at the bottom left, and you're coming up along, kind of along the asymptote, but as you're going, you're slightly moving to the right because they're not a straight up and down line, and you cut through and you start going up, and as you go up, you keep getting closer and closer to the asymptote, but you're never allowed to touch it because that makes your denominator 0, and you can't have a 0. And then you come over to the next asymptote, and you try to draw the exact same picture. But my tick marks, as you can tell, are not the same length apart. So this is not the best drawing in the world. But you get the idea. Oh. Okay, questions on that one? So that's number 7.